Hello, my name is Jakelyn Diaz, and I am a seventh grader here at ECMS I. And just to start off, some fun facts about me is that I have two siblings. My favorite hobby is solving out difficult math problems. Many people may not consider that a hobby, but it is to me. Um, some careers that I am interested in for the future is either being a lawyer, being a pediatrician, or being a teacher like Miss Deshonda, learning, teaching people about the earth and everything about it. Or even when I was smaller, I've always wanted to be the president of the United States, which many people doubt that. Like, they thought, like, girl, what's wrong with you? You're never gonna get that. But here I am now. Keep pushing. I'm a seventh grader. I'm gonna just keep pushing, working hard, and maybe one day it will come true. Like Kamala Harris is up there. Maybe one day I'll get up there too. So I'm gonna start off by talking about our experiences, my experiences at ECMS I and GA, or Green Ambassadors. So first, ECMS I is like a loving school that has this beautiful garden, and it's just so green and so healthy, and it just looks so much fun to be in. And it also provides a class named Green Ambassadors, and Green Ambassadors has this amazing, caring, supportive, and full of knowledge teacher, Miss Deshonda, and she has taught me a lot about the earth and really a lot of issues that humans do and just affect the ecosystems, the habitats, organisms, themselves, and everything from the littlest bug to the biggest whale on earth, um, here on the planet that supports life. And it just has been super fun having this class because we have the opportunity to yet again learn about the earth that many adults or students don't have at all and have never ever heard of an issue like climate change. Like, what is that? There's no such thing. Well, guess what? There is. And you should be able to one day open up to this topic and learn more about our planet Earth that keeps us and maintains us safe. And moving on, Green Ambassador started off as like not learning a little bit of knowledge, and specifically going into the garden. We learned about the tools that we can use at the garden and its purposes and how to use it, some precautions and stuff like that. And we also first started off watering plants. Every Friday we would water our plants. We would make sure they don't get flooded but get enough water, and it would just be a fun Friday activity. But one day Mr. Shanda decided to let us clean out the raised beds. And that took a little time, and many people were scared of the spiders all around there, especially me. We had to take out like different weeds and different like things we did not need anymore so that it can be clean and it can be um like the dirt can be rotated and it can just be prepared for new seeds to be grown. And that was really fun. We also had a chance to, or I had a chance to rotate the compost we had. Like, we had more, like, during lunch we eat apples or bananas, so the peels and the apple core would go to the compost. We would have to mix it. It was really stinky, but really fun to work there. And overall, being in the garden at our school has been a really fun experience, and I have really learned a lot. And now we have to bring it home due to this pandemic we're living, which I hope one day this will all go back to normal and we can soon go to school again so we can be able to be in our lovely and loving garden. With that being said, I'm gonna teach you guys how to use a peat pot to grow a seed at home, and you can take care of the seed like it's your baby. Like, that's your whole life. That's your purpose right now. Just take care of that beautiful seedling. So first is the peat pot, the peat pellet. Sorry, I said peat pot. It's peat pellet. And here's this peat pellet. It's like a dehydrated, compressed thing. and it has this netting as well as this little hole. And I decided to demonstrate how it blows up in water. So of course you'll need a bowl, which I'm using this pot, which I'm gonna use to transplant one plant into this bigger pot. And just put the water in here and put this pea pellet in here, and I'm gonna just show you guys how it's looking so far. Hopefully you guys can see. Let me bring the light in. So here it is. That's the pea pellet in the water. So it's gonna be expanding as it absorbs more water. It is like those little pills you may see that you put in water, and they like expand into like this big fluffy sponge, like into a dinosaur, an animal. That's exactly what we're going for. So we want it to be big and squishy and full of water for our seed, and it can grow up to this much. As you can see, this one is already one I used. It can grow up to that, but it's going to be really squishy and soft. So you probably want to use a peat pot to contain it, which is one of these. Or since I ran out of those and don't have any available, I'm going to use this one just for a demonstration. And just be aware that it has holes, so I am going to use a plate at the bottom so the water doesn't spill. So this pea pellet will soak in the water for a few minutes, and you can probably use a stick to like move it around and really let it soak. But first, let's pick out a seed. So the seeds I have available are I think it's the Oregon sugar pea seed, the sunflower, and the Kentucky blue bean. And I also have broccoli seeds, which are like these little tiny, look like little tiny sprinkles, even smaller than sprinkles. They're like really small, so you have to be really careful with those. But today I am not going to be growing my broccoli seeds, but these are actually my broccoli seeds. So I grew up to 3 in 1 because they are small and they are growing. And this is how my sunflower seed is going. Hopefully one day I'll grow really big and I can just toast those sunflower seeds and make it really big. Hopefully it's soaking. As you can see, this is not ready. Like, you can still feel that it's hard, so it needs to soak. Oh, also besides Mr. Shonda, we also have Mr. Eddie. Mr. Eddie has full of knowledge in his little brain. It's not actually little, he's a grown man. But he has a lot of information. Even though we don't get to really see him when we were at school, he still, when we saw him, he was always ready to share a new fact and always ready to teach us. And he's always great to have. Anyway, for my pea pellet to grow and expand, not actually grow, but expand and absorb water, some experience I have at growing a seed at home is like I have been able to have so much fun, and also like a mother, like I was so happy when my first seed first germinated, which was in a paper towel, because we were doing an experiment where the paper towel, like a soaked paper towel or a pea pellet would be used as a better like source to germinate which seed would germinate faster in a paper towel or in a pea pellet. And my paper towel one came out first, which was Oregon sugar pea that I germinated in a paper towel, which was the greatest feeling I've ever felt. I was super happy when it did. Like, it grew this little radical, which was super cute. But now it is here. I transplanted it into this little pot with some more soil, because this is only gonna be enough for some period of time. But once it starts growing more and becomes more leggy with more leaves, you wanna transplant it to a area that has more space for it to grow, because of course it's gonna have pretty big roots because it's a pretty big plant. as well as you're going to want to fill up more soil. Since it is getting leggy, it can bend over, which is not going to be helpful. But we want the soil to be more higher up there to really support that plant. And you also want to water the plant as much as you can, which I'll explain further right now. So I feel that so this is how big mine is getting. I think it needs a little bit more time. So now it's ready. So here it is. This is how big mine grew. And as you can see, it's a little squishy. So that's how we want it to be. So I'm going to move my bowl of water aside and put it in my little pot so I can not spill any water on my desk. And now, hopefully I can show you guys how to tuck in your seed in there. Okay, so here is my expanded and really absorbed peat pellet. And as you can see, the hole kind of got ruined, but it's still there. And I'm gonna choose to grow another sunflower seed. So here is my sunflower seed. Hopefully you can see that. So a trick that I learned from Mr. Shonda is how big or small it is, that's how it's gonna be planted, like how deep it's gonna be planted. So like I'm measuring my seed compared to my pinky, and I see that it kind of reaches like the half mark between this first section. So about halfway is how deep it's gonna be. So about halfway, I'm gonna make the hole, and I'm gonna just get my seed and plant it. And as you can see, I can still see a little bit. You can just leave it like this, or you can just tuck it away so it can be covered and tucked in, like you're tucking in a baby in a bed with a blanket. So that's how I tucked mine in. And of course it's okay because they're gonna grow a stem and it's gonna grow through the soil. So that's okay. So here it is. The thing about sunflower seeds or broccoli seeds is these need direct sunlight. So you need to put them in a window where it's getting direct sunlight and it's straight up getting the sunlight. But with like the peas or beans, in my case, we didn't put it in direct sunlight. We kept it away in indirect sunlight, which meant that it got some sunlight, but it didn't get like bursting sunlight, like not like bursting, but like straight up sunlight right there in their face. So with this one, we also got instructed or recommended, especially for the broccoli, since they're really small and they are really delicate, to not water it so much because it can easily go wrong. So she recommended that which she is referring to Mr. Shonda, is that our broccoli and our sunflower seeds, we like dip in water, like we would put this back in the water once this whole thing almost dried up. But on the other hand, with our peas and our beans, we were instructed to water it in a daily schedule. Like for those, some people chose to water breakfast, lunch, dinner before they went to sleep. And they did a schedule and also like about how many pumps they gave to each one. And of course, how big it is, that's how much more water it's going to need. Such as, this is my very leggy one, which is slightly bending over, which this is the one I'm going to transplant. This one needs way more water than this one. You see the difference? This one's going to need way more water, and this one's going to need way less water. So you should really keep an eye on that because it can easily go wrong. And you don't want to overhydrate it, that is like it's all flooded and there's literally no space for air pockets to form. And we also don't want it to be dehydrated to the point that it's just dead. But the cool thing about plants is that if the roots are healthy, and by healthy is like more like a white color, or kind of like a really creamy color, like those kind of colors are healthy roots, which will give you a sign that they can be able to still sustain life, because healthy roots means that a plant can regenerate, I guess you would say, and regrow, because the roots are like the main source of getting water and different minerals and nutrients from the ground. So as long as your roots are healthy, a plant can regrow and it can grow again, and the whole plant will be saved again. Especially if you felt sad that you probably like did something wrong to it. Well, not you did it, but probably a schedule wasn't planned in a manner that it was appropriate for the plant, so the plant ended up dying. But if you see that the roots are really healthy and that color I told you, you still have a pretty good chance of it still surviving. And some experiences that I have growing a plant at home is that it has been very nervous at times, where like we would grow a seed but not see it germinate. Like my friend Genesis, she is in my class and also grows a plant along with me, and she was worried that her plant didn't grow, but in a few days ended up growing. And my plants ended up growing within 1 or 2 days, which was really good. And some trouble that I some trouble that I had was not really any trouble, but right now is getting sunlight, since we've been having like really cold, windy, rainy days. And yeah, basically just getting enough sunlight for my plants. And I just very blessed and really happy to see that Mr. Shonda was able to give us these kits for us to grow plants. And I heard that we are getting a new spring kit, which is gonna make me really happy, and also makes me happy that you guys are willing to learn how to grow a seed in a peat pellet and be able to help and teach other people as well, because it's always great to have some of earth in our home, because we technically took over a space from earth, and it's always happy to welcome a piece of earth to our home. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.